Now let's try to improvise the same code. Here you see that there are 3 change handlers. All 3 change handlers have similar coding. The only difference, if you observe, is that the key is different. So in case if you have a provision to make these keys dynamic, then only a single change handler can work instead of all these. Right now we have 3 fields, but normally in the form you may have more fields as well. And having a separate change handler for each field is very lengthy process. So let's try to incorporate everything within a single change handler. So now I'm going to create a single change handler. Let me name it as input change handler. And inside this, certainly it's going to do this only. So I paste it here. Now let me remove all these 3 methods. Now the code is getting smaller. Now on change, I'm going to call the input change handler, and here also, and with this input as well. Now the problem will be, because I copied this line from mobile, it's going to change mobile only, and we don't want that. We want that when it is called by the first name, it should be first name here, and when it is called by the last name, it should be last name. Because we have the reference of the input inside E, what we can do, we can add a name property, and I'm going to use the very same name which is expected here in the key. Now the key is, it has to be first name like this, last name like this only, and mobile like this. So with the very same name, I give first name here, here I give last name, and with this I'm going to say mobile. And what if I remove this mobile and I just say e dot target dot name? Now here I am going to use an ES6 feature about giving dynamic keys. In ES6, when you have to give keys dynamic, you can use square bracket. So I put square bracket around this. This will make the key dynamic. That means now this is a variable and not a fixed value. Let me quickly show you ES6 syntax. Let's say you have a variable test, and inside that I give ename, for example, and now I create an object. So for example, you want to give ename as the key. So you are referring the variable like this, and then you give the name of employee, let's say name, whatever the name is. But here when you say test directly, it means the key name is test. It's not going to refer the value of ename. But when you want it to be dynamic, when you want that the ename should be the key, not the test, the key's value should be taken from a variable, you just use the square brackets. So now this test is containing ename, so actually the object will have ename is equal to the value. So this is what the concept of dynamic key, and the same we are applying here as well. That means when the first name is raising this event, this input change handler, then the name will be first name, and when the last name or mobile is raising the event, it will be last name and mobile respectively. And now we have those 3 methods removed and just a single method for 10, 15, 20 or maybe more input elements. Now let's try this and see how it works. Let me just refresh, and here I say Nirmal, the last name, and whatever is the mobile number. So now you see that it is working in the very same way it was working with multiple event handlers. Now let's talk about a relative question. The question is, you just have to extend the exercise, the previous exercise that is, and you have to remove those unwanted methods, the event change handler methods, and have a single method to implement the very same solution.